Want the ultimate hot hatch? Volkswagen's rejuvenated Golf R could well be it. This can't claim to be the fastest car of its kind, but its Wolfsburg maker reckons it's the most complete, most rewarding and most dynamic shopping rocket yet made. Depending on your mood, it can reach 168 miles an hour on the racetrack or register better than 35 miles to the gallon on the school run. Your everyday supercar is right here.
You might hope for a lot from this mid-term MK8 Golf R model update. A useful 13 PS power upgrade to 333 PS and a chassis tuning update created by a team led by ex-Bugatti chief engineer Florian Umbach, which is supposed to deliver more feedback and a more engaging driving experience too. If you owned the pre-facelift version of this CD1 era R model, you'll probably struggle to notice any performance gain, and that's mainly because the 420 Nm torque figure is exactly the same as it was before, and it's generated via the same paddle shift 7-speed DSG auto gearbox and distributed via the same 4Motion all-wheel drive system, which is why the 4.6 second 0 to 62 miles an hour figure is just 0.1 of a second faster than the old 320 PS model could manage. On the plus side though, the enhanced LK3 Evo 4 generation EA888 2-litre TSI turbo now sounds so much better because the sound actuator that pumps synthetic noise into the interior now has a deeper and more gravelly note than before. It is disappointing to find that you still have to pay quite a lot extra for the key features necessary to make this current generation R model all the car it can be. Firstly, the DCC adaptive damping, which is necessary to get the absolute best from the Intelligent Vehicle Dynamics Manager setup. This marshals the electronic differential locks and the R Performance torque vectoring systems. You also still have to pay more for the R Performance package. That's standard actually on this Plusher Spec Black Edition version of the car, which adds extra drift and special drive modes and raises the top speed from 155 to 168 miles an hour. Further embellish your Golf R with the snarly Akrapovic exhaust system we have fitted here, and you'll be knocking on the door of the kind of budget that's needed for a considerably faster super hatch like an Audi RS3 or a Mercedes AMG A45S, and that might make a prospective owner pause for thought. Whatever power output you think is right for an uber fast hot hatch, it'll be nothing without control, and as before, this Golf R has plenty of that. As with the pre-facelifted model, power can be distributed not only between front and rear axles, but also between the rear wheels. That's thanks to a torque vectoring system using a pair of electronically operated multi-disc clutches. Output can be balanced across the rear axle from 0 to 100% within milliseconds, which in practice makes it astonishingly quick as a point-to-point B-road brawler, whatever the weather too. You simply slingshot from bend to bend, and there's just enough steering feedback to keep you connected. All this turbo motor's pulling power is available from just 2,100 RPM, and that means that too easily you'll quickly find yourself in license confiscation territory. We mentioned the R Performance upgrade package's 2 extra drive modes, sub-settings from the car's race drive mode, accessible via this blue R button on the left-hand wheel spoke. Special was configured for optimum performance at the legendary Nürburgring Nordschleife racetrack, and it instantly deepens the engine note. And there's also drift. Now you might end up never using that because it's been configured purely for wild racetrack use. Volkswagen says it's made some tweaks to that feature, but we're just going to have to take their word for it. By and large, extrovert customers in search of a super hatch don't tend to choose a Golf R. This Volkswagen has mastered the concept of super fast speed in a subtle suit, but the Golf GTI also champions that approach, so this R model has to look a stage more serious. It does, especially in this updated form. In profile, apart from the full R body kit and the usual hoovered to the tarmac ride height, it's the wheels you'll probably notice at first, especially here, because these 19-inch shiny black rims are of the rare optional Warmenau forged kind, introduced as part of this update, 20% lighter than the standard alloys, It's at the front though that you'll recognise that this is an updated version of the CD1 era R model. The redesigned motorsport inspired deep black lower bumper and air intake section is properly menacing, with new air blades and targeted air routing to cool this 333 PS model's big brakes, along with a racing style front splitter. The high-gloss black grille panel has a black-themed central VW logo and is flanked by slimmer, redesigned IQ Light LED matrix headlamps, which now offer about 15% more beam range for faster nighttime driving. Just one thing's disappointing: lift the bonnet and the engine looks nondescript. For the target market here, things like that really matter. As for the look of the rear, well, it depends how much you've spent. Apart from having twin tailpipes each side rather than single ones, a standard Golf R doesn't look very much different to a Golf GTI once it's overtaken you. What's it like inside? Once behind the wheel, there's the usual R model race-style sports seats and blue interior colouring. If you owned the earlier version of this Mark 8 era model, the main difference you'll notice is the installation of this much larger 12.9-inch central screen, which, as with other updated CD1 series Golfs, replaces the previous 10.2-inch monitor of before. Unfortunately, not much else has been done in here to justify the now rather substantial sum required for ownership of one of these, apart from the fitment of these far more tactile steering wheel paddles here. Otherwise, the R bespoke features here are quickly covered. Blue-themed model-branded upholstery in R fabric with bolsters in Alcantara-style art velour microfleece, rather unconvincing carbon-style dash panel applications, and, as on the GTI models, brushed stainless steel pedals. More significant R model differences lie with this bespoke Pro version of the current Golf's normal 10.25-inch digital cockpit instrument panel, the primary view formats of which prioritise a rev counter, shown as either a circular gauge or a race-style horizontal display. Let's take a seat in the rear. As usual in a Mark 8 Golf, a pair of 6-foot adults could be accommodated reasonably easily, provided front seat occupants don't slide their seats fully back. Let's finish this segment by taking a look in the boot. It does seem a bit mean on a car this expensive that there's no powered tailgate operation, even as an option, but you don't really need it. If you push on this black themed central tailgate badge, you reveal a luggage area in this hatch, which at 341 litres is 40 litres down on the usual Golf capacity, presumably because of the four-wheel drive system. The wide hatch aperture and the low loading sill height also help if you're trying to get heavy or bulky items inside, although if you are regularly carrying items like those, you'd obviously be better off with the estate version of this model, which has an enormous 611 litre boot. With this improved version of the Mark 8 model, Volkswagen hasn't followed rival Mercedes and BMW models in this segment by adding in mild hybrid tech, and as a result the fuel consumption figures don't look quite as stellar against the opposition as they once did. What's more significant though is that much the same budget as is required for this Black Edition R model can get you virtually the same engineering and considerably better residuals from an Audi S3, or if you're happy with an estate, from a Cupra Leon VZ. Add in this test car's snarly Akrapovic exhaust though, and any red-blooded hot hatch enthusiast would still be tempted to sign for this Golf. Previous Golf R models, for all their power and panache, have never really appealed to people like that. But especially now that the iconic Honda Civic Type R has gone, perhaps this one might. It certainly deserves to be more highly rated by those who love their driving. But pampered executives who simply want to make a commuting statement might still also like one. This Volkswagen's trump card has always lay in the way it can satisfy both kinds of customer. It still does.